farming play a very key role in Ghana's economy. Here in Ghana, a lot of people opt for fish consumption rather than other proteins. Today, on Farming Today on the Ghanaian Farmer TV, we are diving into the breakdown series. This time around, not for crop farming, but we are looking at the aquaculture space. And in Ghana, there are two fishes that are very common. You are either consuming tilapia or you're consuming catfish. A lot of people also have interest in investing in these two types of fishes, but there is lack of how much would be enough for me to start off with. How much is going to go into pond fingerlings or what you call them, the juveniles and all that? How much? The feed, how long am I buying the feed? There are a lot of unanswered questions on the minds of people. And that's why the Ghanaian Farmer TV, we are bringing this series just to do the breakdown. Enough of the bush. Now let's do breakdown to know how much we are investing. And of course, in about few months, how much you're getting. My name is Enyuna, but when you see me in town, call me Ghana's finest farmer. This program is proudly brought to you by Roko Nano Urea. The farming season has started. So long as you are a vegetable farmer, you are into tubers, or you are into any form of tree crop farming, make sure, remember that you will not waste time going to buy the solid urea. Now we've, 10 things around in the lab, and we have the liquid one. 80% of the nutrient is absorbed by your leaves by the plant through its leaves. And so just get a 500 ml, you're good to go. 3 weeks after transplanting, do the first application. 2 weeks after, do the next application. Very, very less expensive. You can find it in all the 16 regions here in Ghana. But if you want more to buy, just call us on 0554830431. Or JK Industries Limited and Investment in Ghana are the main distributors. So I am here in the studios with my very good brother and of course friend, colleague in the agriculture industry. It's in the person of Gabriel Latte. I'm sure you'd have seen Latman Farms on YouTube a couple of times. Today, I am not an expert in fish, and so I don't pretend to know it all. He is here in the studios to tell us about what it takes to become a profitable fish farmer. I'm going for a quick breather. When I come back, Gabriel will take us into the budget breakdown. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying. If you're just tuning in, this is Farming Today on the Ghanaian Farmer TV. Mr. Latte.
Yes, madam.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
How is Latfarm Farms?
Latman Farms, we are doing good.
Great.
And it's good to finally be on your show.
Right. I've been looking forward to that day as well. And you're doing amazing things.
Yeah.
So on a normal level, when we're talking about catfish farming or tilapia farming, to a basic man's understanding, what exactly are we talking about?
So we are just saying that we are going to create systems in the name of a pond. Okay. Put in fish, give them water, and then feed them. And then after a while, they should be ready for consumption.
Great. But, currently in Ghana, what is the status in fish farming? Are we meeting the consumer demand or it is going down? What is it looking like?
Okay, so in Ghana,
yes,
an average of every single Ghanaian takes about 25 kilos of fish in a year. That's you, myself, and every other person. And it translates into us importing over $200 million of fish produce every single year as a country. The last data I checked was a bit higher, but I still want to maintain my
250.
Yeah, $200 million worth of fish produced every year, which tells us that there's a big gap over there. Okay, for example, we do school feeding program. Yes. A lot of the fish, sometimes they are imported and all of that. So there's a big gap in there. Okay. And for that reason, that is why we are saying that we want to fill into those gaps because of the space that we are seeing in the fish farming space. Right.
Can I do fish farming the whole year?
Yes, fish farming can be done in the whole year, depending on the kind of systems you are working with. So it doesn't necessarily matter what's happening around you.
All right. When it comes to fish farming, does location really matters?
So sometimes it does do matter, especially if you are looking at it from the buyer's perspective. So nearness to the market sometimes can be a very good factor.
Right.
But again, for example, my farm is a bit away from a
Your
lot
residence.
of my residence and a lot of the markets around me. But it means that I've put in place some logistics to be able to move them to the market. So it can be, if it is too far, sometimes you spend too much on
money
on getting the fish to the market. But other than that, it's okay for you to do it almost anywhere.
All right. So for us on this series, we are trying as much as possible to help startups to know, whilst they are saving towards a specific line of agriculture, they know how much is needed for me to start. So today you say you're going to take us through the breakdown of 1,000 fish in 6 months.
Yes.
All right. So please tell us what are we looking at in the tables that you have?
Good. So, you know, when it comes to catfish, people sometimes do start harvesting from like 4 months to like 6 months, sometimes above. But for this calculations, you're just looking at 1,000 pieces of fish in a pond in 6 months.
Okay.
And normally you are looking at an average weight of about like 1.3 to 1.4 kilos. But again, just for the purpose of this calculation, we just want to deal with just 1 kilo.
All right.
And in all of this, we are going to just get information on, let's say, the tarpaulin ponds, the ponds, how much it's going to cost you, the fish, the feed, and then after your
labor,
all of that, then how much revenue you should look at. Is there a way you can even increase the revenue you can get from your fish?
Right.
That is what this is going to give you.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's get down into it when you're ready.
Okay. So now, so it says over here that this is the cost of your investment. Fish farming can become an investment, provided it's not a hobby. Okay. So the first set of things you need is, yes, you need a space.
Yes.
Okay. And the space you are looking out for example, the pond over here, the tarpaulin pond over here is 18 by 10 by 4 feet. Okay, so a length of 18, a width of 10, and then a height of 4 feet. And this tarpaulin, we are looking for a material which is HDPE, which is a high-grade polyethylene material, which is also food grade. Okay, so there are different systems you can use to culture fish, but this is one of the cheapest alternatives that we can use.
Okay.
So over here, we are looking at a tarpaulin that can take 1,000, normally it's about like 1,200, but we are doing just 1,000. So
exactly.
So over here, we are looking at a tarpaulin with a metal works. So that's more or less like, people call it like the frame. It costs 4,500, and you need just one of that.
Okay.
So you're going to get about like 4,500 Ghana cedis. Now, when you're done with the tarpaulin, you need to, it needs to be installed.
Yes.
And then most of the time, we need to get in some fittings and drains in there. And so then the plumbing materials together with the fittings and drains is normally around like 1,150, and then you need maybe it's because it's just one unit, and then that gives you an 1,150.
Same amount.
Exactly.
All right.
Then so now let's say we've set up our pond nicely. We are very much amazed. Now we want to look at the fish we would use to start the farm. So the breakdown of fish, we have like fry, you have fingerlings, juveniles, jumbo, and what have you. If you're a new farmer and you want to start this, there's the size you need to focus on. Why? They're a bit easy to take care of them, and also they more or less like buy you some time. So they are the juveniles. Okay, and normally you are looking at an average weight of 5 to 10 grams. Okay, so if you are getting 1,000 of them, it normally costs about 2 Ghana cedis per piece, and so that's going to get you about 2,000 Ghana cedis. Now, one of the things that causes a lot of farmers to fail is bridging the gap. And to bridge a gap in terms of knowledge, you need training. And so it's training and experience. So first off, you need to be trained. And then the second bit of all of this is you can carry someone's experience while you build your own experience. So what we say is that whoever is going to manage the farm should be trained. And so we've got like a training in place where we teach the farm managers for like 3 days on different aspects of the fish farm that they need to learn. So the training is normally for 2 persons, okay, and then it's 1,000 Ghana cedis. So the 2 persons covers one, the person who's going to work on the farm. But one of the things we've seen after doing this for several times, right now we've set up over 270 farms in Ghana. What we've realized is that sometimes the financier or the sponsor or the person watching us who has the money, who's not going to take care of the farm, knows nothing about the business or nothing about husbandry. And so you sometimes tend to find some info gaps in there. So we are bridging that gap.
Okay.
Where the owner and the farm manager also do that. And so that's why we have 2 persons over here.
Okay.
And then we have 2,000. That is very,
I agree.
very important.
It makes the running of the farm very easy.
And then, you see, one of the things we also do is, if you are in the diaspora, you can still join online. Because we've got an online bit as well. The idea is get the basic information.
All right.
And that's good to go.
Great.
And then we need a scale. So we need like 2 different scales. We can need more. But the first scale is going to be used to measure the feed. We don't do a lot of guesswork in fish farming. That's why we are saying that come for training. So we do like every size of the fish, we know the quantity of feed we need to feed them per day. So you need a scale to do that measurement. And then these scales are very small and cheap and easy to get. You can get them in a lot of the malls.
Is it the one when you go to the cold store they use?
No, so that one is different.
Okay.
This one is like, this one is a bit electronic.
All right.
And so like the bread, those who bake and the rest, they've got those kind of things. So yeah, that's like 170 cedis the last time I checked. And so that's over here. And then you get something that is a bit bigger, okay? But that one will probably help you when you're selling your fish.
The fish.
Exactly. So we are thinking of before and then and the end in there as well. So that one, you're looking at a scale that can do about 40 kilos. And that's good for you. And that's about like 380 cedis. And then how are you going to harvest your fish? You need a net. And so we call that net a scoop net. You put it in and you take your fish out. And then the scoop net is around like a 350 Ghana cedis. So this brings us to an initial cost of 10,550 Ghana cedis. Okay, so now let's go to...
Now, wait.
Okay.
Before you go there, you mentioned that I should go for juveniles.
Exactly.
That is between 5 to 10
grams.
Why not fries?
Okay, so the thing is this. They can be very delicate.
Okay.
The smaller the fish, the more delicate they are. And the more mortalities. When you say mortalities, that is fish kill or fish dying. So we've looked at, for new farmers, okay, we've looked at the mortality rate, okay? And so because of that, we are saying, no, it's better people go for juveniles. They may allow you a bit of some mistakes and they may be okay. But if you go for something smaller, the least mistake, and then you come and everybody's belly up and they are gone.
Okay.
Exactly.
And please, so that I don't shortchange myself.
Good.
Am I supposed to buy exactly 1,000 juveniles or I should buy 1,100 or 1,200?
Good.
So if some do die.
Good. So that's a very, very good thing to add in there. So for new farmers, we normally tell persons to look at a 10% mortality ratio. Okay, so what that means is if you are getting like 1,000 fish, if you can get extra 10% of the 1,000, which is like 100, in addition to what you are buying. The second bit of it is any farm you are buying your fingerlings or juveniles or whatever from, they also give you some percentage of fish in addition. So for example, we do like 5 to 10% as well when you buy fish from us and then you are taking to your farm, just in case of transit-related
mortalities.
Exactly. So that's a good one for you to...
Thank you very much.
It's like you know the fish...
Charlie! Okay. All right.
So let's move to... Good.
The next table.
So now we've started, right? All of us are now farmers. You guys watching, you are farmers and you've got your system in place. Now, we need to look at what feed are my fish going to eat? What quantity do I need to get? So when you're buying feed, don't buy it based on the name or brand or what have you, okay? One of the things we teach at our training is the importance of record keeping, because feed companies, the quality can change, okay? So when you keep your own record, you'd know which one works best for you. But ideally, we are looking at a 20 kg size of a feed. Now, it costs about 330 Ghana cedis. Now, the beauty of this is the feed comes in different sizes. Okay, so we have like the very small size for your juvenile, which is like the 2 mm, and it goes as high as like 8 mm. The higher, the more the fish grow, the lesser the price of the feed. Okay, so what we decided to do is we decided to just give the higher price, which is for the juvenile of 330 cedis, and then it helps to buffer for possible inflation in terms of the feed.
Great.
So we are just needing about $25 in the 6 months period, which is going to give us the 330 unit cost times $25. And this is the amount of feed we would need for the entire production.
Oh, great.
Right.
Right.
Then
utility.
So the utility we are looking at over here is going to be energy. And the energy, we are going to be pumping water. So we need to get some utility cost in there. So just your 1.5 horsepower pump, which you are going to be using to pump water. If you need to, then you just cost that in there. So what we did was we just costed about 200 Ghana cedis per month, because these are not systems that are going to be running 24/7. You put on your pump, less than an hour is off, and then so we just did that costing over here, which is giving us like 1,200
Ghana cedi.
Now, the next thing is to go to the pond. So the ponds, what we have done is we know that a pond needs a minimum of 2,000 liters of water for your fish from juvenile, from day one to when they are almost ready for harvest. This is the amount of water that you would need. And now a liter of water, if it's a pipe-borne water, we also estimated about like 10 Ghana cedis per 1,000 liters of water. Okay, that's if it's pipe-borne. And so 2,000 of that is a 20 Ghana cedis. Now, if you are going to culture fish for 6 months,
yes,
right, you may be doing some water changes.
Yeah.
So the water change we are looking at over here is you are changing twice a week.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are changing twice a week, in 6 months, you are going to change water 60 times. Okay, so the 60 times the amount 20 is going to give us the 1,200. And this is pipe-borne. So for those who have boreholes and the rest, theirs may even come down a little bit.
Right.
Okay. Then the next bit will
transportation.
So the transportation is in two folds. The first one, what we do is, in order not to stress our fish, we don't come and set up the farm today and we come with the fish today. What we do is we come and set up the farm. We wait for you to tell us you are comfortable. There's no problem. There are no leakages. There are no anything whatsoever before the fish come. Why? We want to minimize the possible stress the fish is going to go through. So there are two transportations that come in there.
Okay.
So over here, we costed about like a 400 Ghana cedis. But again, this is just like some baseline information.
Exactly.
Depending on your location and where you are calling us from, the transportation may change. So that's also going to give us 11,050 Ghana cedis if we are to add the feed and the utility and what have you. So that's your phase one. You started your operation.
Yes. Before you go to phase two, please, you talked about utility, which is the electricity.
Exactly.
What if ECG do their thing,
Okay, so good. So this is what's going to happen. Our systems are not systems where you are aerating. Okay. So if ECG is putting off their light, how long? Because this utility is water is available. So for example, for those of you guys who use pipe-borne, right? When we are doing a fish farm, we normally say the water should go into a reservoir a little bit.
All right.
Why? Our pipe-borne is treated with alum, chlorine, and what have you. Those things are not good for fish. But one of the easiest ways to dechlorinate or reduce chlorine in your pond, in your reservoir, is just allowing the water to be in the sun for about 24 to 48 hours.
In the sun?
Just in the sun. So like just go into the poly tank and that's it. So if your poly tank is elevated, the water comes straight from Ghana water and then, Ghana water, and then it goes into your poly. So if it's elevated, via gravity, water can enter your pond. And this utility cost for the pump is out.
All right. Good.
You understand?
Good.
But in instances where, let's say you still need that. Now, you are changing water twice a week, which means you have like 3 days and then a day breather and another 3 days. Okay. So the first 3 days, within that 3 days, anytime you should be able to change your water.
All right.
So if ECG is putting off the light, then it means that we should just hope they don't put it out for more than 3 days.
I get it.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on.
All right, so moving on from here, then farm hand. Definitely, sometimes we need people to help us on the farm to do one thing or the other. So we just costed something around like a 400 Ghana cedis in a month for the farm hand. And
are you sure?
yes. So what we are doing is this. So, for example, you see, one thing about fish farming is sometimes it can become a numbers game. And so if, let's say, we've got 3 ponds.
Yes.
If you extrapolate this times 3, it becomes 1,002.
Yes.
And the 1,002 generally can be high.
All right.
So we decided to just do it this way, which is a bit simple for us. So 400, and then we are having like 6 months. So that's like a 2,400. And then for our setup and putting up all of those things, there's a service charge of 500 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And so when you add the 500 Ghana cedis to this, that's a
2,900 Ghana cedis.
So if you should add the phase 1 cost, the fingerlings and the rest, and then you come and add the feed, and then you come and add this, our general cost to set up 1,000 fish farm in the period of 6 months is going to be 24,500 Ghana cedis.
Woo!
Yeah.
That is quite okay for me.
Exactly.
Quite okay.
It becomes more interesting when we start looking at the revenue aspect. So
all right.
let's
the money part.
Exactly.
That's what I like.
Good. So just to make things a bit simple for you, you know, you put 1,000 fish in your pond.
Yes.
You've been trained through husbandry practices. We are saying that you should maybe lose about 10% of your fish, or 10% of your fish should probably be underweight, but we are not accounting for them. So what we are saying is, if you've harvested or you're taking your fish from your pond, it's fresh fish, okay, and it's fresh catfish, and we are looking at only 900 being available
out of the 1,000 you bought.
Yes, because we are looking at a 10% mortality.
Yes, please.
Then that's a 900 pieces. Okay, and so the 900 pieces is going to give us 900 again here.
Exactly.
But then in the market,
yes,
I normally base my prices at it's almost like the least or the general price. So this is not an inflated figure in any way whatsoever. It's just a 35 cedis per kilo. As I'm speaking to you now, people sell fish for 45 cedis per kilo for fresh fish.
Of course. I mean, just a few days ago, I asked for a restaurant owner, and it was going between 45 to 50 cedis.
Exactly.
For a kilo.
Exactly. But we just want
the least price.
Yeah, the least
so
price.
So that we don't raise too much expectations.
Exactly. So that's about like 35 cedis. So 35 times there are 900 of your individual fish in the pond.
Yeah.
Is going to give you 31,500 good Ghana cedis. Now, another thing that can happen in this situation is when you choose to add some value
to the fish.
So to add some value to the fish, for catfish, the value addition is normally going to be gutting the fish or deciding to sell the fish in a smoked form. So in selling the fish in a smoked form. Now what we do with the smoked fish is that because of the size here, we sometimes sell per piece. You know, the Ghanaian market is probably, it's taking some time to understand weight and pricing.
Exactly.
So if you want to price your smoked fish using the weight, sometimes it can be a bit tricky situation. So we do per piece. So 900 per a piece is going to give us about...
and you are selling it at 40 Ghana cedis.
We are selling, that's very, very cheap. And even with this, we are selling at 40 Ghana cedis per piece. And that's giving us a 36,000. But you know what? This 40 cedis here, what we do is we sometimes do the figure 45. Why? Because of the cost of processing. So whoever is going to gut and then clean the fish and put it in an oven, maybe a bit of some food and all of that. So like just about 5 cedis. And when you do the total amount, you still realize it's a bit high, right? So like these are the figures we can get for the two possible scenarios.
Right.
Okay, good. Now, so when we come to phase 1 production, if we are to add revenue, if you are to add the A bit, the B bit, and then the C bit, this is what is going to happen.
Yes.
For fresh catfish, we are going to get a revenue of 31,000 Ghana cedis, selling 900 pieces at 35 Ghana cedis. And then our cost of production, which we saw earlier, was at 24,500.
Yes.
And so you're getting a profit on a pond
Yes.
of 7,000 Ghana cedis if you choose to sell the fish fresh. Okay. And this includes your cost of setup and all of those initial costs. And then when you choose to add value in smoking, then what's going to happen is your 3,600 minus your same
36,000.
36,000.
Please, I don't joke with money here.
So your 36,000 Ghana cedis
Right.
will now become minus your same cost of production,
Yes.
become 11,500
500 cedis.
Ghana cedis.
Great.
You understand? Then you are done with cycle 1. So
Yes.
first 6 months, you are done. Cycle 2,
Yes.
you're not going to be buying the ponds. You're
The
not going to be, the
metals.
plumbing works. The training is not coming in there. So the cost of production kind of like reduces.
Yes.
Though we try to maintain the same price in revenue. Okay. So again, the same revenue of 31,500. But look at what happens here. The cost of production, if you are to subtract your setup costs, your other fees and all of that, you are getting a 13,950 Ghana cedis.
Right.
From 24,500 to a 13,950 Ghana cedis. And so then you're seeing somewhere around like 17,550 Ghana cedis. And then when we come to the smoke where we add value, again, they are getting about 22,050 cedis. But in all of these calculations, you see, some people do farming and then they add other things to it.
Right.
So maybe you want to look at, you want to sink your borehole, or you want to do some packaging.
Yes.
You want to do, you know, all of those
Yeah.
things. So then sometimes some of these figures do come down. But what we have done over here, these are like figures we work with on regular basis.
Every day.
And I'm saying this because we said that we do farm setups pretty much on a
Every
regular.
time.
So we have fair idea of costing and prices and what have you in there. So this is what the chart looks like if you want to do a catfish farm in 6 months.
Indeed, we are in a comfortable lead right now. We are in a comfortable lead, all right? So for those of you out there who are very passionate about fish farming, who are interested about fish farming, and you're looking at going into the investment, this is how the table is looking like. This tells you which constituency is winning and which constituency is doing, you know, swing vote. So make a decision. This you can never get anywhere, but for people like Mr. Gabriel Latte, Lat Farms, today you are preview to what it takes to go into farming. And one thing he said that hits me a lot is the fact that for our diaspora brothers and sisters who want to invest, please take the pain and go through the training. So when your staff on the farm is saying something, you would appreciate and, you know, be on the same level with the person.
Exactly.
When certain fishes are dying and all that, and they are talking about it, so your mind will not go elsewhere. But they are telling you the practicalities of the potential happenings on the farm. Once again, this is Farming Today. My name is Ayunam, and you are watching us on the Ghanaian Farmer TV. This is a breakdown of what it costs to invest into fish farming for the next 6 months before you would prepare and sell. But please, these sales we are seeing here is no magic. You need to put in work.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
Look for the buyers. At least by 3 months into the investment, start looking for buyers. Am I selling to restaurants, hotels, individual homes? Am I doing point and kill sort of joint? You should think about the marketing. If not, this money you are seeing here, it's not happening overnight.
And
it's
you
not.
know something? One of the funny things about this is what you are saying.
Yeah.
You see, if you are dealing with markets and you understand what the market is looking for, you produce what the market wants. So, for example, for us, about 60 to 70% of our ponds, we don't grow them to a kilo size.
Right.
Why? Our market wants them a bit smaller.
Okay.
So you want to do the legwork and the hard work in there, understand what's happening in the industry, understand what the market is looking out for, and that will help you. The second bit of it is, you see, there could be some slight technicalities in fish farming. That is where the training is going to help you. There are some people that sometimes they can go and buy a lot of fish, put them in their pond, and then within a short while, the number has reduced drastically. There are different things. There are things you do first week when you receive your fish, second week when you receive your fish, 1 month time. And these are the details people miss out every time in fish farming.
Right.
And when you miss out those details, then it makes things look a little bit some way. But again, doing what you're supposed to do, putting in the work, you should be looking at some of these figures coming to you.
Indeed, putting in the work. And that's why I'm introducing you to Rocco Nano Urea Fertilizer. As a farmer, this year, moment you plow your land, you've done the transplanting. In the third week, as you step into the market to go to this agrochemical shop to go and buy fertilizer, especially when it comes to urea, don't go and buy the solid fertilizer. It is old news. It is past. This is the current, the modern, latest innovation that is helping farmers to farm and get the investment. What I'm saying is that the 80% of the nutrient in Rocco Nano Urea Fertilizer is absorbed by your plant through the leaves. With little amount of water, all you have to do, rainfall, all you have to do is that just get a bottle of Rocco. It is 500 ml. Open it, measure with a cap, and pour it into the knapsack bag and do your spraying. Remember, you don't do it in the hot hours. So between 4:30, 5 a.m., 5:30, by 6, finish the application. The next one, wait after 2 weeks, then you apply. This is what I'm telling you. This is less chemical, environmentally friendly. It enhances your crop quality. It does also increase your yield. And with this Rocco, you are not now going to fight with taxi driver. Memo 2 cedi. Taxi driver say, no, baby, I'll call 5 cedi. Please, don't negotiate. With this one, your backpack, you are good to go. All right? And so, Rocco Nano Urea Fertilizer, it is distributed here in Ghana by JK Industries and Investment Limited. They are industrial area. You can call the numbers that are scrolling on the screen, or you can reach out to the Ghanaian farm on 0554-830431 and we'll tell you where to get it. 1 acre equal to 1 bottle. The promotional price now is 240 cedis. After the major season, we will review our prices and increase it. So if I were you, I'll grab my own. I tell you what, this works. It's very effective when you go to Guinea, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria. They are all using it. This is being used everywhere. It's in Ghana. Let's grab it and make the best of our season. Ladman Farms, how do we find you? If someone is looking forward to setting up this and want to reach out to you, how do we find you?
Okay, so you can reach out to us on 050-047-5443 via call, via WhatsApp, or you can send us an email on latmanfarms@gmail.com.
Okay.
And you see, the information we have over here,
yes,
people do pay for it. So it's interesting that you can get this, because this is the first time I'm doing this and to this extent.
Right.
And you can only get this on the Ghanaian Farmer channel. Okay. And then the last bit of all of this is that we've got like packages as well. So we've put together packages for smaller quantity of fish, even to as low as 200 fish.
Great.
So all of this information, when you reach out to us on our WhatsApp or phone call, we'll be there too.
Awesome. So please call my brother. He's been tried and tested. He's been in this space for a long time. You know me. Most of the people I can endorse, you know how I talk about them. And those I can't endorse, I tell you, call me before you call them. But the number he's mentioned, you can call him. He will be there to help you set up your farm and be on the way of becoming a millionaire. And I'm in 5 billion. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you.
Please subscribe to the Ghanaian Farmer channel, share all the videos, and become a member. Don't forget that in the month of June, our agro-tourism to Eastern region is happening. He said training, learning, knowledge acquisition is one of the key elements in becoming successful in any industry, not just for fish farming or aquaculture or anything, but you need to learn, engage with the industry folks, build that network so that when something is happening on the farm, you can call Atma, hey, guy, something is happening. Can you help me? And he'll be there, or let his team come and help you. So please, this is very important. We'll go to the mushroom farm and then we'll go to another fish farming. So please remember to subscribe to the channel and also subscribe to the agrotourism package 0554830431. Your transport, your souvenirs, the farm tour, and of course networking is what we are putting together. Very affordable, right? Just try and subscribe to it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week. Not for catfish, but of course for tilapia. That's my favorite. I'll see you. Bye-bye.